So I call upon our great divine, our most high, our divine ancestors, our divine spirit guides to help bring forth a clear, concise message on what it is that you need the collective to look inward on and act upon in this new week ending and this new week beginning. Closing out April 1st week, I can say April 2nd week to be more clear. But allow me to convey this message and interpret this message for the collective that will be the most beneficial for them to grow, learn, and evolve, okay, on this journey. Not what we want to hear, but what we need to hear. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. And so it is, Ashe. What's up, spirit? I know, it's crazy. We're outside today. But I don't know, I feel like, anyway, I was gonna say that I feel like the more it starts getting warmer outside, the more we'll do like lives outside. It just depends, you know, it depends on the day and how I'm feeling. And if I feel like, you know, tracking all this stuff down the stairs and out the side, and you know what I'm saying. Basically today we felt like it, right? And we have the Four of Pentacles starting us off in this reading, okay? Only if the wind gets to the point where I see cards flooping and flying where will we probably have to change locations here, right? So anywho, we have our first three cards: the Four of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Hanged Man. Okay, we have the Four of Pentacles. This is about structure, stability, the number 4. Okay, with the Pentacles, this is like structure and stability within your everyday practical life. Okay, so this is coming forth with this Two of Cups, and there's gonna be this stability is leading to this balance. Okay, all right. And I know it says, you know, love on the card, but 2 being the number of balancing. Okay, all right, with the Two of Cups being about emotions, this is going to bring you an emotional stability. Okay, new emotional stability is what they said. Then we have the Hangman. I don't know if I can pick up the cards. We have the Hangman and the Queen of Swords, right? And that the Queen of Swords being the Shiva, the god of destruction. So you're gonna have to sacrifice old patterns, old paradigms, okay, in order to bring about this new change, to bring about this stability. You're gonna have to be willing to sacrifice old paradigms, anything that's not serving you. That's like the clearest way I can say it. Is anything that's no longer serving you or your highest good, you have to be willing to sacrifice it. You know, and I heard something from the show, and it was saying how people usually max out when they get to like 20-30% of their in the show, it was like their suit's power, okay, but at the same time that represents the mental cognition, right? The same time it's representing that people only get to 20-30% usage out of the suit because it's all about willpower. It's all about how you carry yourself. It's about, are you willing to push yourself to new heights and new limits to receive the blessings that you are trying to manifest into your reality? Do you believe that you know, are you willing to push yourself? All right, are you willing to be uncomfortable, right, so that you can embark on this new journey that's gonna lead to the Nine of Cups, right? With the material happiness, it's going to lead to your victory. This is a new beginning, but you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to shift old paradigms. You have to not fall victim to old patterns. I don't know how many times I could say the same thing, but um that is what they're trying to convey in this message today, is that it will bring you with the blinking 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 of wands coming in here. This is going to bring you a new spiritual height. How do you say that? It's going to bring you enlightenment, new spiritual enlightenment that is going to be needed on this journey that you're taking, this brand new journey, and if you know, we're gonna go over the major arcana pretty soon. I wouldn't say pretty soon, but we're gonna go over the major arcana, and the full card is the beginning card. It's the start. It's the starting. I don't know what just happened. Did I drop a card? I don't think so. I'm gonna pray. Okay, I think we're good. You guys know I be shuffling, and then sometimes a card will hit. If you guys saw a card fall, just let me know, okay? Because I did not see any cards falling. But the Fool is the starting card, right? This is like, it marks a starting point in a journey. And remember, an ego death or a rebirth, okay, signifies, a starting point in a journey, right? Because guess what, people, when I explain to you guys the process of going from your ego, the dark night of soul, and then going from ego death to your rebirth, and then going into your higher self and everything, but here's the thing, that cycle, it's not linear, okay? And I've tried to explain this multiple times, is that process is not linear, okay? You can go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right? And it's okay to go back and forth, right? You're depending on how embedded you were into your ego, all right, is going to shape how much work you have to do on this journey, right? And then to put on top of that, if you have things that were if you had things that were pressed on you, or pushed on you, certain values and things that were pushed onto you and that you don't align with, and you have certain things that traumas from childhood that those are situations and experiences that were also pushed upon you, regardless of your state of mind, regardless of where you were at emotionally or physically or anything like that. If you experience the trauma, okay, and then you have those other things that were pushed onto you, all of that plays a huge part. I know my hands are like super ashy, guys, but that plays a huge part when it comes into going through this spiritual journey, okay? And sometimes you're gonna have low points, okay? Don't let any spiritualist out there tell you that it's all rainbows and sunshines. It's not. You're gonna have low points, and look, and those low points can set you back into these patterns that were previous, right? But here's the thing, you're gonna have to sacrifice those. You're gonna have to sacrifice that thinking. You're gonna have to sacrifice the things that keep getting you back into those patterns, and find new coping mechanisms. That's what I'm being called to say here, is you need to find new coping mechanisms. You need to really indulge, okay, in an emotional intelligence course, or just really practice your emotional intelligence, okay? And I know we spoke on emotional intelligence very briefly before, but we're definitely going to bring that back up as well, because there's a lot of topics that I just feel like you can never teach enough, All right, so we have the Ace of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and then the Tent. Oh, actually, Tent is the superconscious. Hold on. Don't quote me. I want to make sure I'm right on this. Tent. I'm going to say that it is the subconscious, but I'll fact check that in when I go back upstairs. So, like I said, don't quote me on that, because I want to say 10. There's another word, then there's another T word. We'll come back to it, guys. I don't know. I don't know at the moment. But yes. Okay, so the Ten of Pentacles, okay, with the Ace of Swords and Two of Pentacles, right? Basically about this journey and how you're being given clarity of mind on how to create this harmonious change. Yeah, I mean, how else can I say that? I mean, that's a great way to put it. That's why this card fell out, right? Because again, 2 representing balance, but now we're talking about the pentacles, okay? All right, and the pentacles are more about earthly matters, okay? More about physical and what's going on in the physical realm, right? And as you can see here, you have some ships that are really unbalanced, right? So this is bringing that clarity on how to create this harmonious change within your reality. How, what steps are need to be taken to create this wealth? Yeah, the Ten of Pentacles, to create this abundance within your reality. Okay, so clarity is definitely coming. Okay. Right, but in order to obtain the things that it is that you want in this reality, you know, you can't do bupkis and sit around and you know, just wait for things to fall in your lap. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have to do the work. You have to you know, put in the work that it takes to whoa, I didn't see that there was another card under this, to obtain this opportunity with the Sun card, right? Because with you being this light child and everything, you have to do the work to, how do I say this? When the opportunity comes, will you be ready for how it falls? Have the King of Wands, okay? Oh my god. What? Alright, so we have the King of Wands and the Princess of Pentacles. Okay. With the King of Wands, alright, symbolizing that strength, that power, with the lion here, with the fire energy, okay. Yeah, with the Princess of Pentacles, also as, sorry guys, I gotta find my train of thought. Where are we at? The opportunity. Okay, so you have to approach this head on, right? You're gonna have to, this is gonna be something that you can't you like half do this, right? Whatever this opportunity is, okay, whatever this new chance for this balance and everything, whatever this is, whether this be with relationships, whether this be with business, right, and or friendships, you gotta this is a challenge you'll have to take on head on, okay? And we have the three of swords here. All right. I want to say what's the word? Naivety? Naivety? I don't know. Remaining naive, or I'm gonna say remaining naive. I would say acting naive. So, what's that? Basically, knowing what it is you have to work on, but pretending that you don't, right? And that is what is going to lead you to old cycles of sorrow, of putting yourself down, of doing things that you normally wouldn't do, right? With the oppression card here, and the last thing you want to do is put yourself back into those cycles of doing things that no longer serve you, okay? Tyson wants to come outside, but like that. Okay. Oh. Alright, we have the 9 of Pentacles, okay? Any other cards before we close out this reading? And here we got Shiva again with the God of Destruction. All right, and you're gonna, yeah, if you truly want better for your life, okay, you're gonna have to put up or shut up, right? And do the things that are necessary. Okay, we're taking this card too. For your journey, okay, to receive. To receive the material gain and that's coming forth to you, okay? Then you have the King of Swords and the Knight of Cups, okay? So the King of Swords, meaning like this is going to be, this is going to bring you that clarity that you need to, like, how do I say this? Okay, you need to, all right, try to get the words together so I can say this in the best way possible for you guys. So when I said put up or shut up, right? So you're gonna have to, when you get this clarity, you're gonna have to stand on it, okay? So pay attention to the signs, okay? Pay attention to what's going on in your day-to-day life and how you're feeling everything, okay? Because this time to, and then you can see there's like peacock, or yeah, anywho, you know, the pretty feathers and everything. I can't wear it today, but so that being said, for this transformation to really take place, for you to really take charge in your journey, right? This transformation, you have to you'll have to definitely be paying attention to the signs and incorporating and integrating shadow self when needed, okay? All right. I'm picking these up because I don't want the wind to take them away. So we're gonna go into our next deck, and that is going to be our Moonology Oracle deck. Okay. Tyson crazy, y'all. Okay, let's see what the ancestors, spirit guides, and God have to say about the moon cycle. Yes, see this going into our reading. It's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. Okay. So anything that you could be holding on to, any old paradigms, any no, don't scratch that. Any like I said, old paradigms, any patterns or habits or behaviors that you were previously doing, okay, before you started on your journey, okay, to make this change. You're gonna have to it's really time to release that, right? It's really time to make the change and take the this is basically just confirming what I was saying when we were finishing out our tarot reading, right? And it's time to take action. Okay, so if you have not been active on your shadow work, right? This goes into what I was actually about to say. So this card coming out, I was gonna say that there's a difference between, because we say we're on our healing journey, right? But there is a difference between actively healing and just saying that you're healing, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference. Okay, so you could be healing, but if you aren't taking the actions that are needed to heal, like you're not doing your shadow work, you're skipping your therapy, you're not taking the proper medications, whatever it is that you're lacking in right now. And this could very much be because of the Venus retrograde and Mars being in Cancer and everything like that. So as we're moving into these new cycles and everything, there is a lot of energy here that we need to go ahead and release. Right? And you either flow with this energy or you don't. Okay, that's what everybody really has to understand, is that you either flow or you don't. Okay, so as the energies rise within the sun, you're gonna have to keep stepping up your game. You're gonna have to keep stepping out of your comfort zone, right? You're gonna have to do the work. Okay, and confidence is key to success, right? So that being said, it could be regarding into your solar plexus. Okay, and we have talked about solar plexus. Ooh, I like that. Your commitment is being tested. So right now, like I said, you could be feeling like your ego is just having a fit right now. Your ego is like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Like, you could be someone who's really organized, someone who has a full routine out, and your ego right now is just like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and you are trying to put the pieces back together. But here's the thing, like it says, you have to actually step out of your comfort zone and take the action steps that are required for you to heal, for you to get to the place where you need to, for you to create new habits that you need to create. You have to keep pushing yourself. Okay, everybody has a wall, but you have to be willing to climb that wall. And guess what? You don't just have one hall. You don't just have one wall of barriers that are keeping you from the next level. Okay, you could have multiple layers or halls, like I said. Like there could be multiple rooms and things you need to, yeah, I guess halls would be like a, if you take the roof and everything off of a hall, you would have a maze and it'd just be walls. So you could have a wall, or you could have halls, right? Okay, ancestors be speaking, and I'll be catching it so late. But yes, that does actually make the most sense, right? So anywho, so yeah, so you have multiple levels, right, that have multiple barriers, okay? And every time you come up on a new barrier, you have to face it. You have to take charge. You have to put in the work to get past it and get through it, so that this isn't a barrier for you anymore. It's not something that can hold you back and keep you down anymore. It's something you've grown from, you learned from, and you evolved. Okay, right? And that's why it says a win-win outcome is the forecast. When you do this, when you put in this work, the forecast is a win-win, right? Like you can't lose if you invest in you, right? How can you lose? How can you lose if you put energy into you, right? You can't lose. You cannot lose, right? As a fiery climax approaches, okay? So yeah, like I say, I did not feel that one. You just have to do the necessary things that are needed for you to grow, okay? And it might be hard, and like I said, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. So don't beat yourself up, okay, if you are in a sluggish energy and you're trying to work yourself out of it. Okay, it's okay, right? That's why we stay united, why we have some very nosy energy here. This fly is like all up in my grill, but that being said, yeah, so this is a time to love yourself and really don't beat yourself up, and yeah, don't let your past hold you back. Those are closing messages here. When you don't allow your past to hold you back, you create room for new opportunities, you create room for new experiences to come through full throttle, and you have to trust the divine. Keep trusting, keep up on your prayer life, okay? All right, make sure you're doing your affirmations, okay? Because when you're not feeling your highest, right, those are the tools that are there to help you to get back into feeling like your highest self, okay? So when you're feeling at your lowest, I presented those tools to you, okay, as I've been guided to, so that you guys have that whenever you're not feeling like you're the top stuff. All right, so let us get into our final deck here. This is going to be our Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Let's see, they're probably just going to confirm the reading for the tarot reading, but it's always good to see if they have any messages for us, okay? Time is it? Okay, we're making great time actually. Let us see what it is that the ancestors and the angels have to say in the ethers for the collective. Let's see what it is they want to tell us about closing Okay, that card. Closing out this week, this new week, this new year. Okay, spring. All right, and going into this second week. Okay, ignite your passions is the first thing that the ancestors and the spirit guides want us to know. Okay, is that it's time to ignite your passions. Okay. So if you have an idea, or if you're like pursuing something and it makes you very passionate, okay, you're very passionate about what it is you're pursuing, then definitely keep at it. I'm not getting you should start something entirely new right now, but if you have something that makes you feel excited, makes you feel happy, makes you feel joy, and just, you know, passionate, and it's not hurting nobody else or anything like that, then keep going, you know. If there's any doubts that you should keep going, then you should keep going. Don't let those doubts creep in. Don't let those mental entrapments try to, you know, get you to fall prey. With the white witch, oh, this with is saying be the light. Yes, even when it's hard, yes, you still have to be the light. Okay, even when you're upset, even when you're mad, even when you're bitter, even when you're even when it's sad, when you're sad, you have to be the light. Okay, you have to uphold the righteousness of God universe in all things, even if your personal feelings, you know, you're having your own personal feelings and you're in your own world. It doesn't mean you should be a jerk to somebody else, you know. With the peacekeeper, keep the peace, right? Gotta let go of the need to be right. I know we've seen this card before, but I actually want to see this again. Because I feel like I'm missing something. And my intuition is saying that the 56. My intuition is saying we can learn something from the pages, so we're gonna go ahead. Oh, that's exactly goes into what I was just saying about be the light, keep the peace. Well, I said, okay, so I was thinking we were missing something, right? And the I guess the page say it better than I did, but says the same thing I did, was choose peace, choose happiness over the need to be right, over the need to, how should I put this? Okay, yes, you're sad, right? Let's put it like this. Yes, you are sad, you are in, you know, your own world about how you're feeling, about how something affected you, okay? But instead of trying to prove the point, you know, how to say this, so, you know, someone else being sad, and okay, so you instead of you coming together and being peaceful with this person, the opposite approach, which is what, you know, God, universe, and our ancestors and spirit guides are asking us to let go of, would be attacking the other person for how they feel, and then it's a battle about whose ailment or whose trauma is worse, and that's not really a battle. That's like a lose-lose fight that no one's winning. Okay, we get it. You're down and out, right? Okay, so like it says, rather than trying to prove a point, and save your energy for what's important. Okay, so you may be feeling on edge due to a stressful situation. There's a warrior within you that wants to rise up, prove your point, and get the truth across. But you're being reminded by ancestor wisdom that the truth will always be revealed in the end. It's more important at this time to avoid arguments and heated discussions where you know you'll be fighting a losing battle. I just said all this. There is much more power in choosing to move forward from a higher perspective. This will allow you to connect deeply to the guidance within and the intuition that will lead you towards the healing of the whole situation. Along with any wounds that may have inflicted you, choose peace. You know it's calling you. Okay? So yeah, be the light, be the peacekeeper, right? Be the person, don't argue, don't get into any fights that are unnecessary, especially if you're in any situations, you know, any stressful situations, anything with work or anything like that. You don't want to be adding extra. Okay, that card really wanted to come out. And we talked about this already. Release the old and rest. Okay. All right. Some of you guys are being called to take a restful day. You know, might need a spiritual bath. That slipped out my hand. Might need some time for some relax and, you know, rejuvenation of your energy. Okay. You could be expending your life force energy. Okay. Because you guys remembered, you know, there's a difference between you being tired, like your body being tired, versus your mind being tired, versus the whole shebang, right? Okay, and it's different levels to it. Okay, and all of that has to do with how much life force energy you're expending. So you always have to make sure you're rejuvenating all of that energy back to you. Okay. Make sure you're always calling your energy back to you, okay? Anything else? And make sure you see it from an eagle eyes view, right? Because the ego card, you want to see it from a higher perspective. You want to see things how God universe sees things, right? Okay, so even if you are in a stressful situation right now, you don't want to see it from a low vibrational standpoint. You want to see it from a high vibrational standpoint, like somebody who's able to look at something and change how their perspective on how the situation is actually going, right? Because it's not happening on the 3D plane first. It's happening on the spiritual plane first, right? Everything happens in the spiritual. Everything happens in, you know, on God universe's time, in that realm where we cannot see with our physical eyes, right? So then we have the Sholon Master, which means be grateful in movement and actions, and then we have the Stag, which means trust and thrive. Okay. Say good. Yeah, trust and thrive, trust your instincts, be grateful in movement and action. Okay, and this is talking about like it's saying, be the light. Okay, so you still need to put your best foot forward. You still need to be that person who always brings the light and keeps the peace. Okay, even though you might have things you're going through, okay, you still have to be that person. And yes, you know, you don't have to be perfect, right? Nobody's expecting you to be perfect, but you know, since you know better, you have to do better. And yes, we have slip ups and we have times where, you know, you're just not being super mindful or being super conscientious, but this isn't the time for that, right? This is the time to make sure you're staying mindful of others. Make sure you're staying conscientious of the situations and the experiences that you're going through, and you trust your instincts and you trust your intuitions to guide you. Trust the divine, your ancestors, your spirit guides, to truly guide you through this journey. Okay, and they're gonna lead you on the right path. Okay, they're never gonna steer you wrong. They want the best for you, okay? Because the best for you is the best for them, right? Anything else? Okay. that is our reading, right? So let me know down in the chat down below how this reading has helped you grow, learn, and evolve today. Okay, if you weren't feeling super connected to today's reading, that's okay, because not every reading is meant for you, right? So that being said, you can always come back next week. And as well, remember, the more you engage with the live, the more you engage with the content, the more the messages will get more accurate towards your life, okay?